be on top. Wanna be on top.
You got that deep for me. Real love is deep for me. I'ma make you go weak for me. Make you wait a whole week for me. I see you watching, feeding. I know you want it, scheming. I know you need it, drug lord. You want it all, you don't. I know you need love. I need some too. Do you want this? Like it wants you. Know that booty gon' do what it wants to. Can't hit it one time, hookable. I know you see this red on me. Now come and get 20, 40, 80, I can trap. Hit it with the rap, put it on the map. Hit me right back. Call me when you wanna get 20 man turn up with the rap. Toppy P on my bag, double G's on my dash. Nigga, I'm bad. I'm bad. When you wanna get, you can't get no higher than this. No, 'cause love don't get no higher than this. No, you got that deep for me. Real love is deep for me. I'ma make you go weak for me. Make you wait a whole week for me. I see you watching, feeding. I know you want it, scheming. I know you need it, drug lord. You want it all, you don't. I know you need love. I need some too. Do you want this? Like it wants you. Know that booty gon' do what it wants to. Can't hit it one time.
Hello. Welcome back. Y'all. Whole lot to discuss tonight. Getting into this reality check inside America's Next Top Model. Before we jump into anything, welcome y'all. Thank you so much for being here, especially if you're here a second time. That means you love us real bad. When I say us, I mean me and Ashley. Ashley, are you ready to get into reality check?
I absolutely am. I need someone to talk with this about. I gave my individual thoughts, but I can't wait to hear what you have to say, Tyra, about Tyra, because there was a lot over here. And as someone who watched it faithfully, at least for the first 4 or 5 cycles, this was eye-opening to me. I didn't know all this stuff. So
Ciao.
Can't wait.
The way your girl was not missing. I think I was here for like a solid maybe 14 cycles.
Oh, dang, you was really in there.
Right? Like this was just must-see TV. Like this was the prime in like my teenage years. This was water cooler talk. We were gonna watch America's Next Top Model and then we're gonna talk about it down in somebody's locker room because did you see that episode? Overall thoughts here, baby. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. And leaving everything else by the wayside because we're even here with this doc because like they said the vid rolled up and everybody was binging things that maybe they hadn't seen in a while or haven't seen for the first time ever. We're going to watch America's Next Top Model and oh my god, I don't remember or I never knew it was this problematic. And then we kind of had this rain come down on Tyra's head top like how dare you should be ashamed. So it's like I'm going to bring myself here and give accountability, give reasoning, be thoughtful, be sincere, be apologetic. Tyra said no. Tyra said no. Like, I'm not surprised. For some time, Tyra has been a strange bird. Tyra has been a strange bird, and she gives off this energy of being maybe far removed from maybe OG, whoever started off first in the modeling industry. And she gives off personality more than just this is this is how Tyra Banks. Like, no, it's just like a caricature, a personality, and a persona. And whoever she is, everything just really feels like work. And this was work. This was a reality check. This was a check, This was, get a bag because we're all going to get a bag. And the fact that she can come here and along with others, and it's just like, yeah, we did that. And I think we're so used to the climate of, it's bad that I'm not even mad. We're so used to the climate of today where people are trying to get a space or a word in edgewise. And I don't want to lose a fan base. I don't want to be problematic. I don't want to get blackballed or I don't want to get canceled. I got to come here and say all the right things and have on my beige sweater and talk about how sorry I am. Tyra said, no, I'm from the old school. as well as all the other people. It was just nice to kind of see people here standing their BS, because we know when people come across and it's insincere, but I need to say the right things in the right rooms, because it's like, no, I've had my career. I still have one. Very thriving. I'm not going to miss or lose any sleep over what I did. Was it wrong? Sure. That was of the time. We all did it. But I'm not going to come here and be fake like I'm just heartbroken about the things that occurred or what these ladies went through. I personally don't really even give a damn. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm mad at that, but I'm not mad at that, because we know half the people who do it, they're lying. You didn't mean that. You're just trying to appease what the climate is right now. No, I'm still in the climate of 90s, moving on forward to the 2000s, later 2000s, and this is what we were doing. Ashley, overall thoughts?
Overall thoughts. I've said it before, but it definitely, we know this was a commercial. By the time you get to episode 3, you know this is a commercial. And also, I feel like an attempt potentially at what she thought might have been some kind of damage control prior to E's real documentary coming out in March. The timing of this was very strategic and very interesting. I will say that. However, I will say, I don't think the mission she thought she would accomplish by signing on for this or agreeing to this is what she got. I was scrolling earlier and I saw Adrienne Curry. And if you remember Adrienne, she was a contestant, face card never declines, not declined to this day. And she was like, I like Tyra. Tyra ain't going for the BS. You know, she said, I don't give a F then. I don't give a F now. And I'm not apologizing. However, that for me is what this documentary needed. I feel like a heartfelt, sincere expression of some sort of remorse. And maybe she can't apologize because of, you know, documents and liability. But to act like you gave a single damn would have been nice. It would have been, but it wasn't. It was eye-opening. I think what hurt me the most, outside of course, the treatment of the girls, and we'll get into all of that, was the relationship that she had with her other judges. I felt like that was despicable. And I feel like, okay, it's one thing to be operating in boss mode as the figurehead for this entity, this machine. But I take it down to like, how do you treat your friends? And the fact that she's treated her friends such tells me everything I need to know about this hot ice cream lady. I don't trust her. I didn't trust her from the hot ice cream, and I definitely don't trust her now.
Yeah, Tyra gives very PR trained, but it's to the point of it being robotic. Like, yes, I was just so happy about that, and I didn't want to. Like, girl, what? I was talking and walking like Miss J. They made it all happen. I say, oh, y'all getting shine on the show. Like, Tyra is just so inauthentic. And I see people talking about Naomi in the chat. What with Naomi, the worst parts of Naomi, she wears them on her sleeve. And she was always kind of just the bad in comparison to whatever Tyra was supposed to represent. Tyra hides it. Tyra is nice, nasty. And that's, that's just what that is. But baby, yeah, her and that hot ice cream, ma'am.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking. And she hated the fact that they recognized the Jays over her. They don't even know
Absolutely.
who I am.
Absolutely. Like, why not even just, call it what it is? But getting into this first episode in the origins of America's Next Top Model, so what y'all not gonna do is put UPN in my face. The way I forgot, I watched that first season, but for some reason I forgot that we were over there on UPN. I was like, y'all about to take me through the traumas of how UPN used all of them nice black shows to build up that network, and they threw us on the ground like they always do. And you guys were a part of that, that little transition when we went over there to, what was it, CW, and we left UPN by the wayside. But yeah, they were a part of building that up. But even prior to that, Tyra is feeling like my experience as a black model in the industry, late 80s, early 90s, is not tea. It's not. We're not represented. And when we are, they don't think that we're profitable. We put to the back, whether it's makeup, whether it's hair, there's just constant mistreatment. And most of all, you're getting, certain gigs or not because they don't think you sell. Like, there's just the epitome of disrespect, and, all the isms are happening. All the microaggressions are happening. I can do something that's in a competition type style. Because, this was the era of the competition. Like she said, I wanted to mirror, what she say? I think she said American Idol and did she say Survivor? Whatever those shows were that were popular at the time. I'm going to combine those two and create this show. But it's not just to give an opportunity to the girls that aren't seen like myself or, the casting. Like, no, we still are in the era of, thin, slim, white, heroin chic women. My platform and my show is going to give something else. And maybe this will be the push for the industry to change, to see that there is opportunity in beauty and other weight, size, whatever, color. Yeah, the intentions were good. Let Tyra tell it. The intentions were good. I enjoyed the discussion around like nobody wanted the show, because you would think with who Tyra was, even at that time, and how established and bankable she was, if she was to present anything, people would be, fighting for it. It was like, no, nobody wanted. We just so happened to wind up at UPN and they barely wanted it. We had to fight just for that. We had to fight to have diversity in the cast, and we don't want no Latinos and we don't want any of that. But as far as bridging the gap and changing the industry, how do you feel about Tyra's intentions of coming up with this show and what she really wanted to do?
I mean, before this, and I will say this, that was many, many years ago. And I'm sure Tyra Banks is a much different person than who she was when this was like her brainchild, right? I will say, and I will never take this away from her, this was revolutionary. This was pioneering. This was something we had not seen on this scale before. Like you said, we had American Idol, we had other competition shows that were out at the time that had us already kind of in the mode to be hooked. We had a Flavor of Love, a cute little moment over there, but we didn't have anything that was giving us a purview not only into the modeling industry, but also into these women. Because outside of, them, achieving, this status or winning a contest, we got invested in these girls' lives. We were rooting for some of them. We hated some of them. Like, it was a whole entire experience. And we got to see women that look like us, that we had never seen before in catalogs and ads on billboards or any of that. So what I'll never take from her is that this was trailblazing. I feel like this was an incredible idea. And had it been executed the right way, I think with integrity, I think we'd be having a much different conversation today. Now, listening to her now, and I heard you, Darfalina, in the chat. I saw it, and you said you wouldn't apologize for everything either. I don't say that she needs to apologize for everything, but there were some things where she clearly caused harm that I feel like were worthy of an apology. And I feel like it's pride and hubris not to take a moment, even if you did it on the low, even if you did it off air in a phone call and somebody could just say, yeah, she called me and we talked this out. But to know that she didn't do that, I don't have it to do for her. I will say, I think her intentions were pure initially. I believe they got tainted over time. And I'll set it right there. Because again, I don't think the Tyra we met cycle 1 is the Tyra we saw in the damn thing right now.
I don't know.
I don't think the Jays would say that either. I don't think anybody would say she's the same.
I don't know if her intentions were ever good, honestly. I don't see it. Tyra gives off, like, maybe once she said, we brought over Ken to do the show. Ken, he had done Making the Band with Diddy and them. And say, we already knew the treatment that they were getting over there Making the Band, even before the band ever got there. Like, it was always weird, in a sense of mistreatment. This felt like something curated. This felt like, to me, that first jump off the porch when models get into that space. And she is an entrepreneur in that way. When you realize, there's a really short shelf life to model. You have to pivot. That's what she said. I pivot. I'm a professional pivoter. I'm going to pivot. I have to pivot and do something else. And it has to be something lasting and profitable. This was that. I think that this was always treated as a business, and whatever casualties were going to happen, they were just going to happen. I don't know. This just felt like yet her first initial pivot. But the way that it went left instantly, I just think her character is on display from the beginning. Even in the way that we get here, and what I didn't know, because we were never behind the scenes. I didn't know that they were this involved. I didn't know that they were this involved. For me, just watching, Mr. and Mrs. J, Miss J was gonna pull up, critique the girls fine, but I was here to teach you guys how to walk and gather you in a scene. Mr. J, not Miss J, but Mr. J was gonna be the curator on set, teach you how to pose. He was going to help with makeup. He was going to be there to console you, or maybe go left in the way that you're reacting to a makeover, and that's just that. I didn't know that they were here like inception wise and on like the creative side and implementing ideas, and um Mr. J putting all the context towards what the challenges would be like and what they would be doing and how they would be staged, and like conceptualizing everything. I said, what? What? I didn't know that. I was very, very surprised. But the way Tyra set up here, and it was like I had to reach out, especially to Jay, because they were like, we have to get some people. We have to, yes, they were a part of curating what I wanted to see visually on this show, because it was about giving opportunity. And here we have this Latino, and we have this black man, and there's this queer representation, and blah, 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 blah. There was just all of that. And I was like, okay, which was also great. I didn't even acknowledge before or realize that this was out even prior to something like RuPaul's Drag Race. Like there really wasn't any crew representation in this way on television, so it was groundbreaking in that way. But initially, it's Tyra, 2J's in a dream in a set. The budgets are low. We have to be creative. It's Mr. J and Miss J sitting saying, okay, well, we have to do what we can with what we have. This is what it's going to look like. This is what a challenge should consist of. Or we should, have this impact the girls and, make the show go this way. I didn't know that they were so involved. For the most part, Miss J, oh, he's been there. He taught me how to walk. He's been here since I was 17 years old. Yeah. It was giving there more than just good Judies. This is my family. Mm-hmm. This is my family. Thick and thin family. So to go where we went, I was like, you need your ass whooped. Somebody lay hands on her. I just really didn't like that. Like, why would you discard these men in that way, which we'll get to. But how did you feel about them being involved as much as they were?
Yeah, I was shocked. And again, I just found out that Mr. J was South African and not I thought he was Mexican, honey. I did, or Latino in some way. I was like, "Oh, okay. Learned something new. Thank you." But no, when he's talking about, yeah, we'd stay up all night, we'd kiki. She'd be at my house or I'd be at hers, and we'd be storyboarding and coming up with concepts for the ladies and what these looks were going to be like and all of those things. It sounded like it was just so fun in the beginning. Like they were trying to build a dream. They all had this vision of like, okay, what it could be. And it's really sad that it kind of just devolved into what it was, and probably even worse, because I really feel like, and this is what kind of really pissed me off, because there's a lot of conversation around, especially right now, just in the world about queers, people, gay people and straights and how they interact, and how a lot of times women will have gay friends and they wear them almost like accessories. Like, oh, he's good to do my hair. Like they're acting as in service to someone. And to me, this just kind of epitomized that trope. And it was really, really disturbing to me. It was like she used them like her handbags. And then when they were no longer of service, she just threw them away and said, I don't even want you to be a real person to me. And that was probably the most disturbing thing about all of this, because how do you partner with these people and they help you build your dream, but really they were just here for hair and nails? Like he did your makeup and he taught your girls how to walk. Like that was it. Like that was the sum total of their value to you. Like that is so damn disturbing. And honestly, I still don't feel like she fully gives them the credit they deserve for helping build it out. I mean, they tell us these stories, but when did she actually sit down and say, no, they were instrumental to me getting this off the ground and making the show the success that it was? We don't hear that from her. And you can tell when they left. The little clips they shown of the stunts she was pulling, I was like, oh, they were the ones putting this together. They were the ones reeling her in. They were. Them in production, I'm sure, were reeling her in and being like, no, baby, this is what we're going to do. This is what works. But yeah, I was shocked to know that they had such a huge input into the groundwork and building this thing up from the beginning. And I think I felt that way because of how easy it was for her to discard them. She didn't give a damn about these people at all. It
was the sleepovers and the premiere parties, and we were in my living room and her mom was there. And especially when it came to Mr. J, baby, we were like this. I didn't know that they were this involved, and I wish they got credit for that. But child, I was very, very surprised. Say my good Judy's here. Now, as far as this first episode, we get a few of the ladies from the first cycle, and we get, totally different discussions. We have Shannon here. I didn't really remember Shannon like that. I think because it was overshadowed with Robin, because Robin was the one who was oh, I'm not taking my clothes off for the shoot. And I was like, oh, Shannon said no too. I forgot about that. But Shannon is mostly here in the capacity of production trying to play on her purity situation because she was a virgin and I'm saving myself, and also figuring out after the show ended, her as a runner up, she didn't really have the platform that she thought she would to have a real modeling career. And then, child, we get over here to Ebony and Giselle. I said, oh, Lord. Girl, what? What? To have Ebony be here and be as beautiful as she is. What hurt me the most here and what was the most touching is, as far removed as these ladies are from these experiences, they're still really affected, really emotional, and really hurt. The way we gave Ebony the black villain, aggressive black woman edit, and she's doing the most because she's feeling some type of way about how y'all trying to play about my haircut, how y'all trying to play about my hair texture. You're over me speaking about, my looks, my complexion, it's disturbing. I need to go to Tyra to see what's up. She could at least get somebody from the Bronx to give me a real tape or give me a real fade. This isn't even attractive. I'm already bald. The least y'all can do is shape it up. And it's just very like, you're doing too much. You don't want to be the aggressive black woman complaining on a set. There's a way to voice your opinion, and then there's a lot of gaslighting with Tyra. But the ashy conversation, y'all sat in this woman's face and called her ashy. Mm-hmm. You said she was skin is acne prone. Okay. We have to do the most retouching. Mind you, we're looking at her flawless skin. We're looking at her moisturized flawless skin, calling her ashy. Then you have the roommates gaslighting the other contestants, like, yeah, girl, you got shea butter and whatnot all over the house. Can you pipe down with all that grease you're rubbing on your skin? You're doing too much. That was wild. And then we get into the body shaming with Giselle over here that she has carried for quite some time. I went down to the Giselle rabbit hole, and she's been battling her weight and ED, as we see with a lot of the women further in the competition after this for like a long time, just based off of the comments and how she was treated here, and the fact that they fought for her to be here because I want a Latino in the mix. We have these two black women with Ebony and Robin. We need that representation. Like, you fought and tracked me down to be here to berate me. And Giselle was really, really hurt. But, once again, going to Tyra's response, and I don't have a lot of Tyra here because Tyra's response to everything was exactly the same. It's like, well, when you know better, you do better. 2020, hindsight, was it wrong? Yes. Should I have done more? Yes. But I did the best that I could do with what I had and what I knew at the time. I tried to do what I could. It's very much so that. But we were having vastly different experiences as contestants on the very first cycle. Ashley, how did you feel about Miss Shannon, Miss Ebony, and Giselle?
Yeah, I didn't give a damn about Giselle because let's be very clear. Giselle was hell in the paint. I literally remember not being able to stand her on the show, and I'm gonna go back and rewatch those early cycles to make sure it's fresh in my mind and in my memory. And I like how she was the main one talking to Ebony about greasing up the couch. So I'm going to leave her alone because you said she got issues and she's been dealing with stuff for a long time. And when she got home, she was on a billboard and still couldn't get a job. I get it, girl. You went through it. But Ebony, on the other hand, that really, really pissed me off. Because don't play with her. Y'all had them people patching holes in her head, literally with the clippers, and talking about her bad while they were doing it. Like, literally something Tyra said she complained about. And the reason she was doing this show is because, they couldn't do my hair. I had to, whatever. So why wouldn't you you're in the place where they have the most diverse hair care. Why wouldn't you bring someone in to do a black woman's hair instead of putting in her thing? And Ebony's thinking, well, yeah, she didn't mean it. She didn't know they didn't have the right people there. So Tyra's going to, she's going to talk to me and call me and let me know. I get a call and you're ashy. Yeah, you're ashy, ashy, ashy. Can you work on that? Also, you have to think about Ebony was one of, I think, the first women to be out on this
Mm-hmm.
show and
Mm-hmm.
was dealing with that pushback in the house about her girlfriend coming in. I think she was just hit from all angles, and you could tell she wanted it so bad. Like
Mm-hmm.
this, she put her everything into. They were like, "Okay, you're ashy. All right, I'm gonna grease up. I'm gonna make sure I'm never ashy again. Oh, you want me to do something different with like makeup? You want me to try different things, something avant-garde? I'm gonna try it." She showed up every single round. Like I'm trying to do my best just for them to really put her down. I hate it. I hated reliving this with her. And again, how she felt now, even after all those years and eventually her elimination. I think this put women, and I'll include Giselle in that. It's one thing to get it in the industry, and I don't want anyone to be under any delusions. The industry is just as bad or worse now than it was then. But I think it's something about having so many eyes on you while this stuff is being done to you, while this stuff is being said to you, and then thinking this is like your great hope. Like I'm from Harlem. I was raised in my grandmama's beauty shop. Like I didn't think I could even do this. And to get here and they're
Yeah.
telling me I'm this and that. Like, what do you do with that? And Ebony aging well to this day,
Good, good,
flawless.
good.
But it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
Girl, when Ebony said her nickname was ugly growing up, I said, girl,
Crazy.
this was just, I just hated seeing Ebony cry. I really did. I hated that this was, still weighing on her, or the fact that these ladies, have this experience, and they're at best, we're hoping that this gives us access and opens some type of door so I can have a career. And it's just like, yeah, I'm seen and I'm on those billboards, but that was, the start and the beginning and the end of it all in that one session. After this, I have to figure out life and where I'm going. And it's just, them all still kind of being recognized on the street. Like this impacted them. And it's just like, yeah, I wish I could have done something, but hindsight, like really that's it. And then it's like, which is another thing. I'm hoping that we get there. The ladies I wanted to see here to voice their opinion, they were not here. I was like, we have a curated group of women here, some, but even just like with the Shannon really didn't have a whole lot to say because her experience there was different. And it seemed like she had, more of a backup plan. Okay, if modeling doesn't work, I'm going to do this. I'm still strong in my faith. I'm still a businesswoman. I'm still X, Y, and Z. But then you have the likes of an Ebony or some of the women who really are coming from zero means and they're looking at this as a way out. It's very making the band, child. We are looking at this as, a way out. And then when that doesn't happen, hell, what am I supposed to do now? I just go back to, basically where I started from. But now down at the local bodega, aren't you Ebony from America's Next Top Model? Girl, what you doing here? You didn't make it? You're not a model? No, I'm just chilling. This was sad. But yeah, but all the tears because they weren't feeling protected as women. And I know that they had that expectation because this is Tyra Banks. Not only is this Tyra Banks, but this is another black woman. She's going to make sure. Shit. No. No, she's not. She's absolutely not. But leaving this here. Now, had to put her in here because I'm sure we were looking for her. Now, as far as like the most heinous Terry and the things that I remember growing up watching it, even as a kid, like, did she really just say that? Did they come out of her mouth? I always thought Janice was just a racist. I thought she was a racist. She was a colorist. I thought she was disgusting. But just like way back when and now, she made for good TV. Mm-hmm. She was, oh, it's provocative. It's oh my God, she's awful. And says the most terrible, degrading things. And it's just formed in the, that's Janice. She has all that experience. She's going to, say it straight. No, this whole disrespectful as hell and she need to catch these hands because who are you talking to? Disturbing, disgusting conversations. Nowhere to be found. She's mentioned, but she's not here. Now I looked. They say Janice had a prior engagement. Something else that she was doing to where she couldn't be here, but she would have loved to have been here to give her opinion. Did you need or want to see Janice here?
Janice 95 years old. No, I didn't need to see or hear Janice anymore. But I do want to say this, for better or for worse, this is why we're like the way that we are, because we grew up watching this stuff and these crazy people talking crazy as hell. I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle a rewatch, but I think I am going to do it in the Discord, Darfelina. I saw you. But yeah, would it have been nice for her to be checked? Yes, but that was never going to happen. I can guarantee almost 98.9% sure Janice is the same or worse than she was then, because as people get older, they get worse. And she was already the crypt keeper back then. And then my only issue with my issue wasn't necessarily that she was there, because like you said, she did make for good TV, but it was rare that somebody would check that hoe. Like, check her, like other judges on the panel, check her, because she'd come for Tyra, she'd come for Mr. J, she would come for, and anybody could get it, and it was like she had carte blanche to do whatever she needed to do. But no, I absolutely did not want to see her in this doc. But I am going to go back and see all the craziness she said, because even those few little sound bites we got in the doc, I was like, damn it, Janice. I said, you're old. You're the oldest whore I've ever seen in my life. Oh, God, ugly, terrible, elderly. What are you doing? What are you doing? But yeah, I'm gonna go back. But no, I didn't need to see her.
As we should, because most of the things that were problematic that weren't like, as far as I guess like a set or a challenge, the body shaming, the disrespectful microaggression, it was mostly coming from Janice, and she's not here. The reason I wanted Janice here is because I already knew she was going to stand on it. This is not an apologetic woman. She was going to go, yeah, I needed her here because sometimes this generation needs a check. Like, this was like, yeah, this is where we were. This is how we grew up. But I wanted her here for the same reason why, if there was ever a breakdown on, Sex in the City behind the scenes, I don't want it all Sarah Jessica Parker and then Kim Cattrall is somewhere off and we can't really. Janice is going to say the T. Because everybody else who's here who wasn't a contestant, they still have boundaries and respect and revere Tyra. You can't pay them really to say anything bad about her. Janice would be very unfiltered, and I would have loved to have heard what she was going to say. That's the only reason why I would have wanted her here, and probably why Tyra made sure her ass wasn't. Because it's like, well, if you just thought at least I were who I was, like a flag, you already knew I was terrible. Tyra was hell on wheels, behind the scenes, and she curated and made all of these things happen. And you thought it was me? It was her. She told me to sit down in that seat and say that. I want to see and hear those things. That's why I wanted Janice here. I wasn't expecting her to apologize or be remorseful for anything she did. Y'all, Janice didn't care. Terrible lady. But like, know your enemies. I like that we know who she is. You need to know who to avoid. Thank you so much, Dane. No Tyra Banks hate shall be tolerated. She gave us some incredible Sports Illustrated and Victoria's Secret covers. Thank you so much, Dane, for the super chat. But I don't know. We'll see. I just wanted to mention it. I was like, baby, where was Janice? Because that's the crap I remember. But in the midst of episode 2, and really leaving off of the last episode, we get over here. You had sex? That's the first thing that popped into my mind when I saw Shandi. I remember Shandi, honey. I remember where I was when that storyline hit, because I was sitting up and I was not expecting to get here and it to go this. I was like, whoa. Now, we're getting what we would normally get. The show being the little show that could, and it explodes and it's everywhere, and we're getting more cycles, bigger budgets, and it's damn near a part of pop culture. But in the midst of that, we get, Shandi. I was not expecting this, and I felt like I was the drama. I felt like I was the drama because as far as this culture and the way that Shandi says, this is what happened to me and this is why it's assault, bottom line. I was like, I need to go back and watch this because this is not what I remember. This is not what I remember. And going back, I was like, I can't even take that verbatim because I went back and watched the scene. I was like, but we can't, can we take this for face value? Because this is edit, who they can take away and put in what they want to. But we have Shandi being our awkward butterfly and her coming here, spreading her wings, getting all the love and all of the light that she maybe didn't get from home. And this is an opportunity. I remember Shandi because she was working down at the Walgreens and she was just as awkward and she slowly started to blossom. But in the midst of that, you were going to hear about her boyfriend. It was all about her boyfriend. My boyfriend, my love, my love, my light, my chicken nugget. But as we started to travel more and more space was happening, I think she wasn't like calling him as much. And it was just like, you show smelling yourself since you got real cute over there with them America's Next Top Models. Like, what's going on? Then we have a challenge where we're on the back of these mopeds riding around with these fine men. Things lead to a different way, and she says she feels like there was pressure put on the girls, like, hey, how would y'all feel about the men coming back here to party a bit longer and maybe hanging out? And it was just like, cool, we were fine with it. But one thing leads to another, because she was feeling a way about Eric and her relationship. She's drinking a whole lot, she's lonely. Some flirting in the jacuzzi turns into a lack of consent in a bedroom or in a shower because I was too intoxicated to do so. So it's basically giving I was graped on camera and nobody did anything to stop it. In fact, y'all low key initiated it. And I've been carrying this around all my life, all my days. And Tyra, as well as production, takes every given moment, even outside of this space, to throw that in my face throughout the years. And this has changed her life forever. Shandi is never the same. I'm really trying to be diplomatic about the situation, because from what I remember, what I saw
too,
Shandi was hurt that she cheated. She was embarrassed that she cheated, and it changed her life. This was her world. Shandi didn't have nobody in the world. Her family wasn't too much of nothing. Her mama, she was on her own, and all she had was this boyfriend. And she was so guilt-ridden and hurt. Now, at this point in this cycle and what they're signing, they know that, baby, if you do everything but maybe shower, we're following you. We're documenting it. Nothing is going to go unscathed. We're going to record you. And she was feeling away, and she was feeling herself, and we were drinking and having a good time with the man that we were hanging out that day. And it led to Smex, and she felt bad about it, and she hated that it was exposed. And I think she hates that it's exposed to this day. This entire doc, Shandi is giving y'all ruined what was the most important relationship in my life. And I have to relive it every single moment, because now I'm known as the girl who had sex on the Tyra Banks show, and I can never live that down. I'm not a model. I'm trying to find my way in my life. I could have been finding my way in my life with my man that I love so much, but y'all ruined it because you documented it. The assault situation and the ability to consent is a little gray for me, and I hate that it is, because I don't want to victim shame or have Shandi being away, but I can only interpret what I'm given. Ashley?
The way that they presented it to the world was that was a night of partying, and the next morning it was regret. Mm-hmm. I think, like you said, when you look at it now, we have awareness, we have language, we have all of these things around consent that did not exist back then, not exist in everyone's mind now. And I know the miracle of editing and film production, they can make it look like whatever storyline they want. And they talk about that in this doc as well, how the girls, it went from being a competition to creating individual narratives and storylines for each girl. And so I'm gonna say, you know, now Shandi knows, listen, I was not in a position to be able to give consent. She literally says she was blacked out when the act happened. Again, we don't see that. We don't know. But based on what she said and later how she's treated on Tyra's talk show, it was harmful. Tyra caused harm. If not in the original situation, after Shandi has communicated and expressed what really happened, and you still proceed to call her a cheater and play the tape back of her, you know, being with this man, it's crazy. But I do think it makes you take a second look at the way you perceive things, especially in reality, especially on TV, and, you know, understanding what happens before. The only thing I wondered about was, okay, there seems like there should be some amount of liability that somebody's responsible for. Is there a statute of limitations? At what point did Shandi come to the realization that that was not okay and that wasn't consent, right? Did we ever pursue the man? These are all things that kind of went through my head after the fact. Like, has she pursued anything since having now this awareness? Or is it one of those things, I just don't want to ever be reminded of it again, but this is my story. this is my truth. Because Tyra, when you asked Tyra, Shandi, oh God,
Girl,
well, that was more production and
production.
filming, and I'm the on-air talent. So for me, I don't know, but no, they painted Shandi out here to be a $2 hoe who was hunching and had a loving boyfriend who, when she confessed, said, you effing whore, you cheated on me. Like, that's how we like, oh girl, she got drunk and she sat on it, and then was sad the next day because now she had to tell her boyfriend that she cheated. And that's how it was presented to the world then.
It was Jay, now. It was Jay for me saying like, oh, then the Super Bowl happened over there with Janet. Then we had to rework. All the laws changed as far as what we were able to do. I think them milking it and following the storyline was completely out of line. I think Tyra completely omitting how involved and knowledgeable she is of the situation. You can't act unaware and oblivious and then cut to a different scene. And so how many of you here has been cheated on or cheated on a partner? Shandi, what do you have to say? Like, or you bring her on that talk show. You bring her on your talk show and you play in her face when she says, I just hate the idea of like, how long have you been sitting in this space, Shandi, having to relive this trauma? It's just really sad. And I hate that it's just so morally gray to where, and I'm not the person to ask about the ability to consent. That's just always a little, rocky depending on who you talk to. But I want something to be done. Like Shandi is not okay. Shandi is not okay.
Not to this day. That's what I'm saying. I wonder if she was able to pursue anything, because at the very least, I would think civil litigation or something. And they had the footage, like they recorded everything she said. Like, oh yeah,
that was her scapegoat too. Because Tyra was very like, and her and the production Ken. Well, like we didn't show everything. Like it could have been worse. Like I could go further, Effie, but we didn't. We reserved a little bit out of respect for maybe Shandi and other contestants and the things that you actually saw. We didn't show everything. Like, that does not make anything okay, Tyra. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm hoping for. I didn't expect this to go so dark. I was like, oh man, Shandi, I was like, we were sitting there watching this, thinking that it was just, typical cheating and that was just that. I didn't know that you felt, that you weren't able to consent and you were taken advantage of, and that you could have possibly been blacked out. And maybe these are things that they cut, or they're following you and exploiting this for everything that it's worth. And meanwhile, you're suffering. What the hell? I don't know. Something needs to be done. I just hope that Shandi gets some help, because she was very broken through every single episode on this documentary.
She was. It's still crazy. When she said people were walking up to her on the street, you whore, you cheated on him.
Yeah. That's what she said. She said, I couldn't, like, we tried to rekindle and live our best life, but our relationship couldn't come back from that. But at this point in the doc, and you're like halfway through the second episode, you're asking, who is going to be responsible? Because if Tyra isn't responsible, production isn't responsible, Jay, it's just a whole lot of, it was the nonchalant, oh God, like, whoo, girl, when they did, oh, baby, what is that? What is that? There's a lot of passing the buck. Mm-hmm. And just, that wasn't me. That wasn't my department. And that challenge right there, that competition, that was on the back of my neck. I was so uncomfortable, but I couldn't do anything. It's very, I didn't have the power to do. Well, if y'all didn't have the power, then who does? I don't know how far that executive producer credit runs, because Tyra was one as well, right along with Ken up there. But it was too far and few moments in between, as far as, well, that moment right there was the moment that I said, now it's gone too far. I got to do something. Who's responsible? Ashley?
They're going to say the network. Oh, because my boss had a boss. I'm a boss, but I have a boss. And there's no sacred cows. There's no sacred cows. I think Ken took accountability for the homicide photo shoot or whatever, which was completely terrible. After that lady mama got shot, you going to have her shot in the head too. Like, that was sick. He said, I'll have to take, for that. Mr. J was like, yeah. And when they did the blackface, but I just kind of went along with it. The people wanted what the people wanted, and we had to deliver. That's kind of the sentiment that came across. I will say, when you take on the leadership, ownership, creator title of something, that comes with a burden of responsibility. And for better or worse, fair or not, Tyra, just because her face and name is on it, is going to be the one ultimately in the court of public opinion who's responsible. If at the very least you undersigned it, your name, your name on the paperwork, miss. Like at the end of the day, to me, somebody should have been able to speak up for something. I think that's where integrity comes in. I honestly feel like by the time we got so deep and really started getting controversial, they were making money hand over fist and nobody wanted to rock the boat. This was a cash cow for Tyra Banks, honey, and everybody else affiliated. They were getting a cute coin. The numbers were crazy because I know, and that was before like really TiVo and on demand. We were there
Still have to wait to be
live
there to watch
on
it
the nights,
weekly.
tuning in every single week. This was about money. That they lost the plot, I think, but definitely by cycle 3-4, they definitely had lost the plot by then. No one's gonna take ownership. And then now that everything's so like litigious and like, oh, could we be sued? Are we liable? They've signed their rights away with this big entity. But no, at the end of the day, they're all responsible, in my opinion. Everybody's culpable who participated and knew harm was done in whatever capacity.
I don't know. She lost me at the facial expressions. Yeah, Tyra did some itch. Yeah, Tyra messed up. Tyra, yep, sure did. Blah, 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 It was wrong. Woo! I said, are you okay? Are you okay? Because I've been not thinking that you were okay, but you were confirming here that you are not okay, Tyra. I don't know. But we have all of this counter situation. I didn't know them bringing on Nigel Barker was just supposed to subside some of Janice's shenanigans. But just getting here and how I knew that, and you would hope that the people around her would have knew what they meant. The fact that they could be there for the inception, but we get that same tempo that we get from a lot of shows when they become successful. Okay, now it's a bit too much to have both of your good Judys and these two gay men in the forefront. Now we need to call Nigel, not only to counter somebody like Janice and be the nice, charming judge, but I was like, white where? We need a nice, white, charming, straight man. We need him in the forefront to kind of give some balance because you got these two gays constantly teaching the girls how to walk in on set. And of course, Tyra, as well as everybody else on production, said, okay, we can do that. And I'm like, that's just that. But I think there should have been some wake-up calls at this moment as far as what was being prioritized. Because at this point, the whole no sacred cows was much later in them late cycles. Here, you couldn't tell me that you still didn't have some type of autonomy to go, no. Because if they go, I go. If you touch them, you're touching me. Like, you didn't want to take these brothers of yours, this family, underneath your wing? No, bring on Nigel. And he's fine, too. Actually, how did you feel about Nigel and when he got here?
Now, word on the street is they said he done did something too. When we watched it in the Discord, they said Nigel was doing something too. I said, damn it, who didn't do anything? As far as I know, listen, I'm just gonna set it right here. Nigel was cool on the show. I liked his addition. He was fine, but wasn't he like Indian? Like he was like Indian from India, like his mama was, right? Like he was a mixture, like an ad mixture.
He was a mixture of several things, just like
but I feel
Mr.
like
J.
Nigel honestly loved all the black women that came on the show. And I remember him when he would judge, he would always, the one that everybody kind of counted out, he would always kind of uplift the black women that came on. And I think that's why I kind of really liked Nigel. It wasn't because he was so fine, but he was kind of cute back then. But again, they said that this was again appealing to the network. Her boss's boss wanted a white straight man to come in and garner some more of that attention. But I thought he was a cool addition. I thought he brought something to the judges panel that we didn't have already. So he worked for me.
Yeah, I like Nigel. I was like, damn, what did Nigel do? what you do, Nigel?
They said he did something. They said he did something. I don't know.
I'll look it up after the live. Thank you so much for the super chat, Quana. You still how Kenya Barris wasn't involved yet. He is listed as a creator. Things that make you go,
Mm.
yeah. I mean, you're involved. Like, I think at this point, Tyra still had enough, gas in the chamber to where, like, if it was at this point and Tyra gave them the ultimatum of either do this or I'll walk, I think they were going to bow to her whim. You couldn't replace her at this moment. She was still the draw. But the fact that we were agreeing to these things, like, well, that's just what the network wanted. Like, I don't know what y'all want me to do. We're going to bring on Nigel, this white straight man who was not white. Thank you so much for the super chat. The Jays wanted you to feel sorry for them in this documentary. Both of them are just as guilty. Janice had time for Cosby, but not her accountability. Ciao.
Now here's the thing with that. If you listen to it, because they're all a little bit called on the carpet about certain things, and I think Miss J's response was probably the realest. He was like, "Yeah, it was terrible. It was bad. Ooh, did I say that?" He said, "Well." Like, that's just like
That's just what it is.
Was. I think now to come after it's, I don't know, it's different. Again, it's a completely different time. And it's crazy when you live long enough and you can be like, oh, I remember a time when it was a completely different time. He's like, was it wrong? Yeah, it was wrong as hell. But I said it. And at the time I meant it. Like, this is what I did then. It absolutely doesn't make it right. But I think you have to remember the time that we're in. Now, that being said, that's not an excuse for harm being caused. Literal harm, SA, abuses, all these heifers falling out and having to go to the ER because they were being starved and emaciated, like not having access to the phone. I feel like those are damn human rights violations. Everything else, getting talked to crazy. All right, it's terrible, but I'm really more concerned with the actual harm that was done to these people.
I don't know. It's just it's very hard to, because I had loved me some Mr. and Mrs. J. I really did. It's hard with the culture of that time to expect them to come here and be anything more than what they are. Just like these situations where it's like, oh, we probably shouldn't have done. You knew that this was wrong, cultural or not, and how far removed we are from this. We knew this was wrong then. Especially with Tyra. I can remember those, we're going to switch ethnicity episodes. When that first happened, I said, what? I thought that was so wild, and I knew that was inappropriate, and I was still a teenager. So you already know. At this point, it felt like where you would have wanted Tyra to perpetuate something different. I don't want this to have the same effect that Tyra kind of feels like, hurt people. And the way we called that man, whoever Ken was, like, oh yeah, he was over there with making the band, and the same way that we could have something like that, or it's the same as the music industry. You would think, people who grow to have some type of ability to have checks and balances, and I don't want another artist to suffer in the way that I did. I'm going to bring you on and take you under my wing and do something completely different. No, you start implementing the same things that were done to you because it's profitable. We're going to give you that 360, even though I came up in a 360 and I was broken down to my brake pads. Don't have no money to this day. But now that I have my own label, I can make my own decisions. I'm going to be just as nefarious as the person who took me on. I feel like it's the same with Tyra. It wasn't just like, well, at the time, this is what America wanted. Y'all wanted this. So, girl, who America? What America? I like whoever was there as representing the network in that first half before she left and those cycles continued. It was just like, yeah, it was at this point, it just became about upping the ante. How are we going to up the stakes? This was literally a test of endurance. I had forgot how many times we saw someone pass out or they're fainting. They got to be hospitalized and we're dehydrated. And then we're getting into you would hear them on the panel. She needs to eat less. She needs to lose weight. No, people were really on these sets eating less or eating nothing at all just to lose weight, passing out, getting into, ED and different things that they weren't even exposed to before they ever got here. And then once we start checking whatever the application process is for you to know what maybe happened to my mom or certain traumas that I have to where that I will be triggered if you're putting me in this particular type of shoot, we're playing and manipulating those things for narratives, for ratings. Oh, this was a hot mess. This was a hot mess. These are the things where you would expect a Black woman, I don't care, a Black woman, a Black man, a J, the people of color, because all of y'all, step in and go, what we're not going to do is this. What we're not gonna do is this. And it's just like, no, not only are we gonna do it, I'm gonna co-sign it. I'm gonna be here on the ground floor gaslighting these women to let them know why it's okay to do it and why you better do it or you might go home. Like, this was sick. Them Jays, Tyra, Ken, all of them needed to be held accountable for what they did here. And they weren't. It was just a bunch of, well, yeah, that was the day on that shoot where I was like, whew, I couldn't believe. I felt very uncomfortable. I still did it because it was my job and I had to do my job. Because at the end of the day, it's about me getting my check and I'm going to do that. This was sad though, but I forgot how intense some of these challenges and things were. I was like, oh my God, they really were out here doing this. And every season we had to up it. 24 seasons is wild to have to try to continue to up some stakes. We're jeopardizing lives here. Ashley?
Child, we were the problem. We were the problem too. Like,
good.
can we take a moment and just own it? Like, we literally were the problem too. Like, and I'll get it. We were very young. Like, we were children watching this. However, we tuned in. America tuned in, and because of that, they said, "Okay, y'all like this? Let's give you a little bit more. Oh, you like this? You like them telling this white woman dressed as a black woman with a milk mustache, girl? Yeah, I thought you was a sister." I said, "Tyra, if you're gonna shut your ass up." And we sat there and we watched and we cackled. I mean, it's easy to look back now, but we still tuned in the next week to see who was gonna win. Like, who won that cycle? Like, who won that photo shoot? Who's going home? I'm sorry, you are not America's Next Top Model. Like, we were still tuned in, but no, this was diabolical. And I would love to lay this all at Tyra's feet, like, oh, she did this, she did this. But the fact of the matter is, somebody did. They do personal histories, they get these girls' backgrounds, and they formulated and storyboarded different shoots that were going to tie into some of these people's trauma. That's just what it is at the end of the day. And they did that. Whether you want to blame it on Tyra or production, somebody did it and said it was going to be a good idea. And we tuned in week after week to watch it.
Oh Lord, that's so sad. Why I see Ferranda in the chat. Ferranda posted on Threads that all need to take accountability. I remember those are the people I wanted to see. Those are the people I wanted to see. I was like, where are the folks? Where's Mercedes? Where are the people? Let me get this super chat here from J Buggin. Thank you so much. Cy Stallone used to date Janice. He got a DNA test as soon as she pushed, then left her A at the hospital. Tyra needs a little trip to. Not you finna put her over there with Pennywise in them. Tyra is just a little elusive, just a little.
She's
not
different.
Jupiter Hills.
Now.
She's been different, but I don't know. It's like she's completely disassociated from this, and it's like you can't identify. Like, you too were, and you're still you're a black woman through and through here. And I don't think it's, sad for these women to have expectations to want to be protected by another black woman. I just don't.
I agree.
I'm sorry. Child, the blackface of it all.
And then, oh, sister, girl, you could be my cousin. Tyra,
Tyra gonna do the most. Tyra was a weird one, child. But this was, a step too far for most. I remember this. I remember Joni getting them teeth out. Now, look at what they did to my teeth. Like, oh my God. I remember this because I was all about Danielle. I remember this cycle. Child, that was you being in between a rock and a hard place, Tyra. Now, when we get our first introduction to Danielle, it's just here really at this point. Danielle wasn't holding nothing back, but just at this point around her smile, and they would make fun. I hated the way they kept clipping back to how often they made fun of black women in their skin and how we had to retouch you the most. Because, woo, jump scare. Janice said, jump scare. Oh, you hoes look terrible. Woo, do something about that. Go to hell, Janice. But here, it's all surrounding her gap. Her gap. As if we have not came up, even prior, like the inception of a model industry, most often something being imperfect is something that could make you book more roles and stand out because you do have that gap and that's what you're known for. You're just known for being slim and you have buck blings or you have freckles or, something that pops. Tyra is sitting here saying, I was told, through the grapevine, somebody whispered to me that would, hold her back and they were not going to book her and have her, easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. They weren't going to call her because all they're going to see is that gap. So I was really trying to help you. even though I did know that it was invasive and it was a bit much, we get these, they ain't even take no time for them goddamn makeovers from hell where they would have them people going through the most and chopping off all their hair just to send them home literally the next episode. But that was hair. Hair is going to grow back. We can, with them bad weaves that they will put in, we can take that out. This is forever. You want me to go do what to my teeth? She's saying no, but Danielle gives us some insight to her background, where she came from, her means. This is an opportunity. This is a way out. If I don't close my gap, they're going to send me home. I have no choice, and she's forced to do this. Goddamn Joni down here in this super invasive surgery to get her snaggletooth. Baby, the way Joni showed up with her scrapbook, say, yep, still have these teeth here. Joni is very light as far as her experience, and it's really no bad blood. She doesn't have anything to say. So, baby, I got my HGTV happening over here, my career. If I didn't go on the show and have this experience with Tyra, and even though through those trials and tribulations, I wouldn't have the opportunity to do what I'm doing now. Was it the best? But at the time, I had my snaggletooth. I was self-conscious about my teeth. It was, some dental work that I wasn't going to get otherwise. Even though I can't bite correctly to this day, and it's all still damaged. I think Tyra, she didn't have a bad thing to say. Ashley, was this her being in between a rock and a hard place trying to help Danielle?
No, because a couple seasons later, she had that white lady widen her gap because she said, oh, yeah, this is editorial. This is going to be great. This is going to make you different and unique. So, no, she was just being messy. And I think it was because Danny really was trying to take a stand. But here's the thing, right? Mm-hmm. Ultimately, when you look at it, and I think this is where you have to look at personal responsibility as well, because when Danny's recounting everything that happened, Danny was like, yeah, no, I don't want my gap closed. She goes back up there and Tyra's like, listen, you're not going to stay in the competition unless, so if I give you this picture, are you going to get it closed? She had a conversation with her mother. Her mother was like, well, if you don't get it closed, you're coming home, right? So what are you going to do? I think Danny, as far as the gap, has to take ownership. You wanted to be in the competition. You wanted to stay. And ultimately, were you pressured? Yes. But did you make a choice? Absolutely. You signed them papers and you did that. Danny has a different kind of situation on the other side of that, though, because Tyra was fully aware of the setup that Danny was going to be in for in this career. And she literally said, I rode the fence and I chose not to do anything for you. I think that's a completely different situation. But as far as her gap getting closed, baby, you could have just went home. You could have went back home to Arkansas right then, just like your mama said. As far as the other girl, I remember that distinctly. Look at my teeth. Like, I remember that. But yeah, she seems healed. She seems fine with everything. She says that she works with HGTV. She's doing her construction. She's living her best life. Ultimately, Tyra didn't give a damn about these girls at this point. And I think it was incumbent upon the young ladies to care for themselves. Like, again, Danny consulted her mama, and her mama said, well, what you want to do?
Oh, no, Ashley.
You coming home?
They're so young, though. Yeah, these are like 19, 20-somethings. I'm coming from nothing. Roaches and mold in the house. Like, to dangle and play with my life like this. Like, girl, this is my livelihood. And it's sad that they expected the world from Tyra. I just hate for Tyra to come here and try to keep gaslighting situations of, well, I just thought, no, Heifer, you thought that this would make for good TV. And if you don't close that damn gap, I'm going to send you home. This is an executive decision from the top of whoever, but I'm co-signing it. Just say that. Don't be talking about, my heart.
Went home though. And I'm just saying, I don't like that part of it. And I'll give that. Tyra wanted ratings. That's all this was about for her. I mean, as far as you being a young woman, you talk to your mama and she tells you, baby, you can come home now. Or you can do the procedure, but you wanted to stay and you did the procedure. Can you blame somebody for a choice you made?
You can, because why you holding my property against me, ho?
I don't want it outside of that. She won the competition too. I don't know. It's interesting because I do think at some point there comes a line where somebody just can't do something to you. They couldn't just close your gap without you consenting for them to close your gap. And I get the pressure. You wanted to stay. You wanted to be somebody and go somewhere.
I did.
But baby, but it was your choice and you got used. Ultimately, you did. You were used, but were you made to do this? Did they force you?
No, they don't force a whole lot, but they can curate some things and make me feel like I have no other options because of who I am and my means. Now, I'm sure certain girls, and you would know the girls who had means who maybe came from more because they would have that, you cutting my hair to what length? Well, if we don't cut it, then you're going to go home. Okay, well, I'm just going to go home. Bye. I have a life after this. I have something to go home to. When you know you don't have nothing to go home to, well, hell, I guess I'm just gonna close this gap. I just don't like the manipulation. Like, don't play in our face, lady. Thank you so much, Trent King. Tyra gentrified blackness. She betrayed us for having accents, but encouraged it from Jocelyn and Laura. It made them relatable to be country. Child, the way we were gonna go up for a Latina, but it'll the main thing I remember, which is terrible, was not only Eva but Yaya and how they used to play in Yaya's face over her
Skin, her
Afrocentricity and her
acne,
skin and her face.
everything.
And why did you choose the Kintley cough? Like, why you don't have to show up? Like, you don't have to show up and be as black and as bold as you are, or proud of your blackness. Like, oh, we already know you black, Yaya. We already know you black and you proud. You don't have to reiterate that to us every time you step up to this panel. It's like, oh my God, how just because you want to be far removed from yours, don't project that to me. Don't project that to me. But child, leaving this here, I just poor Joni. Joni said, "I have it in my scrapbook." She is living her best life, but okay, poor Kenya, poor Kenya. We have Kenya and Whitney after we leave the state of the EDs and dehydration and other things that are perpetuated on set. Even if we aren't saying it, it's whispered that you need to lose some weight, so people are depriving themselves of food and passing the hell out. This was totally different. I vividly remember Kenya's edit. I remember it down because I used to be like, what? Where is she fat? I remember this and I remember the episode because I love the Seven Deadly Sins episode and they gave her gluttony. I was like, what? They act like Kenya was just so huge. I couldn't believe it at the time. And I just couldn't. And the way that they would curate the contestants around it, they would add to the narrative of what she does eat a lot. Like the judges told her to lose some weight. She's really not trying. She's really eating. Meanwhile, where? Child, between that and her having to be the elephant, that was more than enough. And getting in front of those judges and Janice, oh, she's fat. She needs to lose some weight. She's just fat. I still remember Janice going in on Takara, and Takara got here to be a plus size model hoe. What are you talking about? Will we have Whitney down here who actually won? And most of her complaints are on the side of costuming and how they strategically tried to make her feel some type of way because we don't have a size that fits you. But above all else, I prospered. I won the competition and I did find my way. Kenya, totally different. Will we have the too fat narrative in the edit? Her and that goddamn bagel. We get into this man. I remember that episode of that man being
his grubby self too.
Extra as hell, groping all in her space. And it's just being blatantly ignored. And it's like, go with it. And they would do this with a lot of the models. And just go with it. Fall into the scene. Yeah, flirt with him. Go. It's like, I don't want that. I want to be here and do my job and model, but I don't want to be harassed in the process. Can you just get the picture so I can go? And to have her voice it here and nothing be done about it, it just hurts her. The way Kenya is here crying, it's like, oh, Kenya, like, I hate to see it. Like, these women are hurt. These are life-changing events that they can't just drop. Like, these women are carrying this with them. And it's just like, well, this was the main reason we kept reiterating, I did the best I could with the knowledge I had at the time.
Yeah.
I tried, Kenya, I would take the bun off the burger, just eat the meat. You are getting a little hippie. You're just getting, we had to retouch and edit your photo the most. Because you were just so fat. The body shaming is crazy. And the fact that Kenya says, like, moving forward in the competition, that's when the EDs really intensify because I don't want to be as big as Kenya. I got to make sure I stay small. Crazy. Ashley?
Yeah, this is to me an example of real harm that everybody knew about. And everybody was responsible for that. They flash over to Mr. J actually being on site when that man is groping her. And she's like, can we stop? Like, I feel really uncomfortable. What do you mean? Just go on with it. Go on with it. And then later, Tyra again hears what happened, and you know she had heard what happened from before. Yeah, in those instances, you say, "Boy, I'm gonna slap you. You better stop. Like, let's just get through this shoot." And you know that'll work because that makes the environment easier. And my thing is, what was the problem with firing his little hoe ass? He wasn't a photographer. He wasn't anybody special. And she reached out. She did all the steps people say to do if you feel like you are being harmed or abused or essayed or whatever, and no one paid attention. This is the thing for me that fully deserved an apology from everyone. And I feel like that's mental distress. Like, I feel like I wouldn't, they probably signed some sort of agreement that they couldn't sue them before they come onto the show, but that was ridiculous. And the eating edit. The way I remember every single scene of Kenya, she had something to eat. They like made sure, and it wasn't just that bagel, it was all kinds of stuff. They would just always have her stuffing her mouth and shaming her. But for me, the essay, the groping, all of that, and literally none of them doing a damn thing and basically saying it's your fault because you should have handled it differently. That's harmful. That is violence. That's harm to me. And I feel like she should have received something out of the deal. Like, Keena deserved a damn kickback for that. As far as Whitney, she was cute. I don't remember Whitney much though. She looks completely different.
I remember Whitney. She won.
It's amazing what their idea of plus size was.
Yeah.
In comparison to like, I'm like, oh, now she's plus size.
But yeah, now she's plus size. Back then, she's normal as hell. She's like, yeah, I was 115 pounds, and it was just too much. Like, what? Crazy. This just hurt. And what I saw from earlier, none of the women got paid to be here. This was just, and I think that this is why, which I think you said you saw a video from Adrian, who actually won a cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't get paid to be here. This is still yet another instance of, paid and I guess just being viewed here and having your opinion be heard. But y'all can cut these women a check, Tyra. Like, y'all didn't get paid to be. They didn't get paid to be here, y'all. That is just what's sending me. I came all the way down here to the function to relive my traumas, cry on this raggedy Netflix camera, and I couldn't even get a coin for it.
You mean Netflix didn't pay them? I thought you were talking about they didn't get like a little per diem back in the day.
No, Netflix they didn't get no money to be here.
Hell no.
I'm not talking about the competition. There was no money. There's no money here. Like you're paid in notoriety. You're paid in your opinion in the platform.
Everybody get a piece for doing the documentary now. Netflix, y'all got money. Somebody needs to pay somebody to do something.
Adrian had said why you didn't see me there is because I'm all willing to talk, but they weren't offering no money. We weren't getting paid to be there. So no, I wasn't going to come down there and share my opinion. That's what Adrian said. I don't know. We'll wait and see. But
that pissed me off. Y'all got money to pay these people who were clearly wrong. Y'all don't give a damn. That they need to tell their own story and monetize their own platforms. That's crazy.
Yeah. And a lot of them do. I think I've seen Kenya several times. I've seen some of them who more so still have like one foot in as far as modeling in some way, shape, or form. They do express their experience or maybe their relationship with Tyra. It's monetized in that way. But there's no reason for anybody to be here and not be paid. I think it's probably just paid in, okay, well, let me promote what I'm doing right now. Maybe somebody will show some interest. You need to pay me. You need to pay me. And I was like, well, they would explain why certain people just aren't here who you would expect, like, why aren't they talking to this person? But child, in the midst of that, we of course had to go over here. Cause what's the show without We Were Rooting for You? The most talked about moment in history on America's Next Top Model. I remember where I was. Because Tiffany was around the way fillet. She's very relatable. I'm from Compton. I remember she got into that spat and they sent her home that first time. It was just like, you know what? I'm back. I got a little cleansing. I got a little therapy. I'm healed. I'm here for the competition and to win. But there was slowly, like, from what I remember, an edit of just chipping away at her and making her feel like she wasn't good enough. She was already self-conscious. So anything that they could do, and I hate that they try to keep gaslighting here, like, the way Tyra, that girl, she was my heart. Woo, Lord, I just believed in her. I wanted her to win. She could have won, she could have won this. This was, that Tiffany was your heart. She was okay, whatever. But going back, I had not watched this full scene in a long time. You know, we'll have a little sound bite. We were rooting for you. How dare you? We'll spit it out in a second. But just to watch the scene play out now, your mother, she didn't have any money to even send you here. Your granny, she had to keep her lights were off to buy you a swim. Hold on, ho! Who are you talking to? Now I've heard from Tiffany over the years, and her opinion has fluctuated depending on how she's feeling. Because at first, I think she wanted to maintain a relationship, and it's just like, you know what, Tyra was just upset. She was hurt for me not believing in myself, and she just expressed it in that way. I don't think she had any malice till later. No, it really wasn't giving that. If you loved me and you believed in me so much, it would have came across differently. But this was the earth-shattering moment where it was like, okay, Tyra is really acting out of character. Something's really going on. This whole situation here, Tyra can get the hell out of my face with saying my world, my queen, and she was just going to be, you could have won this. Learn something from this. When my mother no, she wanted a moment out of Tiffany. She wanted a moment. Because I remember this season, we had already had that moment with the contestant getting eliminated next to her. She had passed out. And that damn weave saved her. She had passed out and everybody lost their mind. And then we got here because this was the first time Tyra did a double elimination. Everybody was shocked to all hell. Like, are you serious? Mm-hmm. And it was just like, oh, okay, well, if I'm going home, I'm just going home. And she, no, I'm going to make this what it isn't because Tiffany isn't giving me the reaction that I wanted. So I'm going to make something. I'm going to make TV. She keeps saying that in the doc. I knew what was good for TV and what people wanted. I think I knew. And I think she tried to play on her top. You didn't care or love this little girl. Get out of my face with that bull crap. Ashley.
Now, Tyra was crazy as hell. And this is when I knew she was fully unhinged because it wasn't all that. You ain't even know this lady that long enough to feel that deeply about her one way or the other. I definitely agree this was about a moment. But can I also just say, Tiffany got on my damn nerves in that cycle. She really did. I said, Heffa, if you don't read that board, damn it, read it. I wanted her to read the board too, Tyra.
No, I felt like they were trying to play on Tiffany because she felt some way about her lack of education.
But none of them could read it.
But she didn't know that. She didn't know. She felt like they were trying to play on her.
I felt like every time there was a competition that got hard for Tiffany, she really punked out. And she did. But did she deserve that? Absolutely. Tyra didn't care about that girl. She didn't care about her like that anyway. But I was really rooting for Tiffany.
We were.
I liked her and I thought she had such a great look. I thought she could have been amazing, but she pissed me off in a lot of those competitions because it was like she fully gave up on herself every single time. But again, Tyra's a lunatic. It didn't require all that. Like, I feel like when you really care about somebody the way she claimed to have cared about Tiffany, that's one of them. While you was calling Ebony to say she's ashy, you would hop your tail over there into the apartment, which you had done sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. And pull her to the side and have a private one-on-one conversation. I think this was about embarrassment. I think this was humiliation. I also think because they knew Tiffany was volatile, like,
they think, she's gonna pop off.
She's about to go off. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But Tiffany did piss me off that cycle. I will say that.
I don't know why they play like this at this point. And this is when we'll get into the next point of, Jay just feeling like the show is going into a direction where I don't even feel like I want to go anymore. And I think that was a part of it. Now, this sent me because at that point of discussing elimination and you have to go and Tiffany had to leave, that's when we learn about just the real elimination process. Depending on at what point in the competition that you're eliminated, you're just meant to stay in a room until further notice, until it wraps up for confidentiality reasons. Wild. What? I can't even talk. I can't even talk to my family. I can't, like, you leave, we have to have that whole stage. I'm walking out, I'm packing my suitcase, and they play that little sad ass backing track. And then you can't even go home. So depending on where you fall, and let's just say you're eliminated first, you have to be put up until whenever they wrap. Wild. But be that as it may, once we get into like the afterlife and the she watched me suffer narrative, like I said, they all had different experiences. Joni's cool. The three up here, they are not okay. It seems like Kenya is finding her way and there's a confidence about her and she looks beautiful. but there's something really broken. She really feels like she wasn't protected, and you can really tell that the ones
She
who did
wasn't.
try to pursue, maybe Danny and Kenya, they had experiences in the industry. And if you were on this large of a platform and you were gaslit, even by someone that you felt like, Tyra, if anybody, like if she couldn't relate and I couldn't be protected there, whatever experiences they may have had out in the real modeling world, if something happened, you know, what was I going to do? What was it? Something happened to me on a platform and I wasn't protected. It's just best the question of how they conducted themselves moving forward, and maybe what was allowed that could have been avoided if we would have had someone on production on America's Next Top Model along with Tyra really rally behind these women. Shandi needs some therapy and a hug, and I really some compensation. Everybody need a coin first of all, but I know they ain't gonna get it. It's wishful thinking.
Clearly.
But the main thing that hit was maybe Danny, because she was the most passionate, because she won. She won, and she's feeling like, oh, my dreams are coming true. I'm here. I'm signed to, I think, signed to, like they said, Ford Models of all places, and no gigs, no bookings, no casting calls, no nothing. I'm in my little model apartment and nothing's happening, for any of these women. I like how Kenya said, but I couldn't even use none of them heavily edited, extravagant photo shoots. We couldn't even use those, for photos, we couldn't do any of that. And then there's this stigma around you not being a model, but you're a reality star.
Yeah.
You're a star and you maybe have the potential to be bigger than my actual design. I don't want to work with you. And that's one thing. But the way that Tyra communicates it, she says, 10 years removed from this, me and Tyra sat and had this conversation of, I knew certain doors weren't going to open for you. I knew you would have limited opportunities, if any at all. I knew that you wouldn't be successful. I knew who was gonna, and I did nothing about it. I did
was just
nothing to
always on
stop
the
it.
fence about you.
I was always kind of on the fence about you, and I didn't,
Crazy.
I didn't get involved. She is like cut down and hurt,
And
like
angry.
hurt, angry as hell, as she should be.
Mhm.
She's like, you don't even gotta like me, you don't gotta whatever, don't watch me suffer. Like, what the hell did I ever do to you for you to watch me suffer? What the hell you mean on the fence? What are you talking about, Tyra? Girl, she made me mad. She made me so mad. Like, it's just such a lack of concern or compassion for the next, like, but she can sit here and talk about, well, the success stories, because my girl Eva, my girl this person and this, Winnie Harlow and Winnie, yeah, but for every single Winnie or Eva, or it's like
Yeah,
100, other girls who have suffered at the hands of your show. Do we not care about them? The success stories are never going to outweigh the torture that's happened here. And there's no reason why we would have these competitions and we fight for our life and get here, and I can't even be a real model to this day. Like, none of these ladies are per se, thriving in the modeling industry, because I couldn't. It's sad. Ashley?
Yeah. And Danny's story probably hurt me the most because she is carrying so much rage and anger about that. But like she said, like as a Black woman, even if you couldn't do anything, the fact that you let me sit in this contract for all this time, knowing nothing was ever going to shake for me, and you never even called me on the phone and said, little sis, listen, this is what it is. You didn't pull my coattail. You didn't do anything. Yeah, I was just always on the fence about you. Like, honestly, sorry it wasted your time and your life and all of these things while you could have been actively pursuing something that was going to be fruitful. I feel like she feels like Tyra stole time from her. And I think she did. When somebody is withholding information from you and you're blind to it, that's literally robbing you of the opportunity to make a change. She's just thinking, if I wait, if I show up, if I do what I need to do, eventually the castings are going to come. I mean, I'm signed to this agency. Like, why wouldn't they? You know what I mean? I think that was just a heartbreaking conversation. And I think it also showed Tyra's nature, because you're cruel. You're a cruel individual to talk to someone 10 years later and say, yeah, I knew it was never going to happen for you. And yeah, I just thought I'd let you suffer. Always on the fence about you, never really liked you too much. All of those things. I think that's just gosh awful. As far as Kina, I think Kina is more resting in her hurt. And I do hope that she gets help, because when she shares her stories of her experiences, it was very much, I looked up to Tyra, like we all did. All of us Black girls, we looked up to Tyra and we saw ourselves in her. She's like, okay, what would Tyra do in this situation? She would stop the shoot, she would let the photographer know, and they're going to do whatever they need to do to help. And I feel like to look up to someone like that as your hero, as your champion, all of that, and them not come through and literally just cause more harm, because I think she was eliminated shortly after that.
Yeah.
And now dealing with the repercussions, that's devastating. It's one thing to be marginalized, right? As a Black, as a woman in that industry. But then for you to inflict harm on girls and women and people that look like you, that's a certain level of diabolicalness. Like I said, we can't blame Tyra for every single thing, but
Yeah.
these pointed things, these women deserve apologies. At the very least, they deserved an apology.
I
In
just
my
want to know what made Danny so different from all the other winners that she championed and helped and platformed and promoted, and you were going to catch them on a carpet. Like, did their career have to catch some type of fire and following before it was like, oh yeah, I want to claim this. This is one of my girls from America's Next Top Model. You know, they're really, really successful, and I want it to be known that they're from here. Like, what the hell pissed you off in what way? What the hell did she do? Like, it was nothing that she could have done. I
I
don't
think
know.
Danielle just had a voice. She was never afraid to use her voice. And I think
Mm,
Tyra, I don't know if she harbored some resentment
I
over
think so.
that, or if she
I
just
think so.
didn't like her. Tyra just didn't like some of those girls. Honestly,
I
I
think
don't, I
there's
don't think she liked some
resentment
of them.
for anyone who isn't singing her praises and is just strictly grateful for the opportunity. I think it's just because, I just thank you so. It's just, if it's anything but that, yeah, I'm washing my hands and I'm gonna let you suffer. Terrible, terrible. And if they weren't paid to be here, I doubt they're getting any help outside of this. Now, this is when stuff really starts to like fall, because things are getting worse and worse. By the time I've never yelled at a girl like this, the challenges are getting out of hand. It's more and more scenarios where even Mr. J, who has let this go on and fly for the better part of him being on the show, you know what? Now this is beginning to be too much. I need to step away from this. I'm going to step away, but Tyra being Tyra in the relationship that we've had through the years, we always discuss reaching out to each other first. So I'm going to message her and wait days for her to message me back with a simple, I'm disappointed. I say, that was psychotic. That's what she's crazy. She is weird. Like, the way that Jay still wants to get here and be respectful, lay it out. And it still feels like, because I think I saw that they have a producer, executive producer credit on here also. I think they only wanted to go so far, because this is a check once again. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say my piece, but I'm only gonna say so much. This was messed up. This was messed up. You know, as messed up as it is, do what you want with the girls and at your leisure and whatever, but not your Judies, not your people who've been here since the inception, having creative control, also helping you with ideas, helping you be who you are, protecting you. No, I'm gonna say you disappointed me, then I'm gonna gaslight and ignore you on set because I wanted to quit, but then you guys contractually tell me I can't quit and that you need to stay here for another cycle. But in the midst of you staying here for another cycle, we want to let you know in increments there's potential for you to be iced out completely, for your name to be mud in the industry, and for us to blacklist you. It's like they didn't say it out loud, but that's what it became. So I continued to stick around even though I wanted to leave. The fact that you would have to do that from some group of folks that you would consider your friend and family, crazy. And then the way she was blatantly ignoring this man on set and in his face, this had to hurt so bad. But and in a sense where you would want to feel sorry for Mr. and Mrs. J. With Mr. J, the way you stood by complacent while this happened to other girls or anybody else who was in adjacent, because that's just them. Who knows? You know how they treat casting and production, and anybody who's on the lower totem pole of this network, they get treated terribly. But it's all good as long as it's not happening to you. The moment it happens to you, I expected more. I couldn't believe Tyra treated me like this. I couldn't believe we can't believe it either because we would want more from that. But to get to this point and we're like cycle 9 and 10 to just find out you were simply a Judy. You were simply a purse.
Not even a Jew. Yeah, purse, a handbag, an accessory.
And the moment
Absolutely.
you don't want to be my accessory, we're going to play in your face to make you stay here because we need you here.
Mhm.
I don't know. Not just that, we're going to demote you.
Now you're
We're
just
gonna,
on air talent only.
now you're
Yeah.
just on air talent. Now you're just any ounce of that coin is touched and any ounce of creative control that you thought you had in the beginning to curate these photo shoots and the placements and sets and we're gonna fly to Asia. Yeah, that's all over now. You are literally here to be on air talent and deliver the lines the way that we tell you to. Along with that, and this competition getting more rigged than ever because he said this is when they really up the ante of, well, we want this person to stay here and this person to go, so we're going to choose the worst shot. So it's just all rigmaroles. Tired. How did you feel about Mr. J and him getting this mistreatment?
That hurt me. But like somebody said in the chat, a nasty person is a nasty person. Nika Please said that. But I think you know how people always think you're the different one. Like, oh, I'm different. Like what we have is special. Like,
Danny said,
no,
"Who's Judy?"
I'm not just in service to Tyra. Tyra loves me. Like, I love her. Like, that's my girl in a bag of pearls. Like, I know what's under that wig. Like, I do her makeup. Like, all of these things. And then to find out you were less than nothing to her. Like, she would only talk to you while they were filming and then went back to stonewalling you whenever the cameras weren't rolling and you still had to show up. That had to be such a shock. He still to this day seems so hurt. Now, some could say, is that him reaping what he sowed in terms of being complacent, like you said, with the girls and watching the treatment that they endured? I honestly just don't think he ever thought like she would do that to him. Like, not me. Not me. I'm Mr. J. Like, that's my girl. Like, no. Ultimately, you were in service to her. And when you stopped being of service in the way that she wanted, you were no longer valuable and no longer worthy. I hope that gave him a reality check as it relates to how he moves forward in the world. But unfortunately, the damage is done. All them 50-11 cycles that they did and all the harm that was caused by sitting by, because he says it throughout this documentary, like, I knew that was wrong. I knew that was right, but I felt like my hands were like, yeah, I can't really do anything about that. But this was hard. This was hard to watch because we stayed the night at each other's house. Like, she'd come to LA and stay at my house, and I'd be in New York at hers, and we would plan the show and we would talk about our ideas. And this is when he kind of starts revealing the fact that they orchestrated the winners, right?
Yeah.
We need this girl to be here for 6 more cycles, so you do what you need to do, or you're not going to be here anymore. You're expendable, just like the rest of them. It was this was sad. It's sad.
It's terrible. But I think there's a lot of energy here, unfortunately, of reaping what you've sown. And even though most of them found their way outside of this and are, successful in their own right, as far as like for what Tyra means and how she should be revered for the path that she set forward for other models who look like her, that's not the energy. You know how somebody would be like, oh, Beverly Johnson. Oh, this is Iman. And this is like Tyra. There's so much mud on her name.
Mm-hmm.
And even now, it's just like, oh, that's the wacky Tyra. Everything that she did before, like, I think she discounted her career. I don't know if she cares or not, but it's
She's
just,
feeling that hot ice cream, Tyra. She's not worried about it.
Don't say nothing else about that damn hot ice cream.
Weird.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of reaping going on here because now she's just like that crazy lady. But then after we get told that we couldn't go anywhere and you're going to stay here for these cycles or we're going to blacklist you, you know what? The ratings are taking a dip. Like any other show, we need to shake something up. We need to fire all 3 of them.
All of y'all.
All of you guys are fired indefinitely. What? the way, baby. Mr. J was feeling some type of way. He said, baby, when I wanted to leave, y'all wouldn't let me leave. And then you just jump off the porch and just fire me. Not only me, but you fire Miss J. The way Miss J said, yeah, it was my birthday 4 days or so prior. She sent me these flowers. Then right after my birthday, I was fired. I was fired. I guess the flowers were supposed to ease the pain, but the way Tyra just writes it off as it wasn't my call. They wanted to make some changes, and it was like, if you don't make these changes, there are no sacred cows. You could be next. Fire them or else. And I had to let go of Mr. and Mrs. J, and I had to let go of Nigel because in whoever's mind upstairs, they thought that this was gonna change the show's dynamic and press refresh. It wasn't. This was wild. They have their little press moments in discussing what they did to kind of the way Nigel's like, I didn't have no backup plan. I just thought I was gonna be on the show. Nigel said, I didn't. This is how I was feeding my kids, bro. I didn't have a backup plan, but I had to find my way. You know, in a very real sense, as a photographer, and my experience there, it really helped me. And Mr. J pretty much continues to not only be a makeup artist, but really like an on-air personality in maybe a news red carpet type of sense. And then, of course, we know that Miss J, he goes on to different cycles and different things abroad in other countries and whatnot, and does his Miss J thing there. But as far as Tyra, from the moment that they're fired, nothing else is said. Tyra says it wasn't my call, and that's just what it was. And they also hated that in the public eye, there wasn't any care considered in them being let go or like any type of press. It was just like, yeah, it was leaked to page 6. Tyra fires her good Judy's type energy. Whoo, there's trouble in paradise. It's like, yeah, it was a spectacle. I thought we deserved more. And even when you have them on somebody's news platform, it's like, well, yeah. Do you have anything you want to say, Mr. J, as far as the way that Tyra handled that? It's just like, yeah, still all pleasantries, still all flowers. Mm-hmm. The way he said Miss J was squeezing the knee, like, girl, this is your moment. Say it out loud. It's just like, I can't, because I love and revere and respect her too much. They say they revere her more than anything in this doc because it was, you know, an opportunity. Like, she didn't have to call me. But yeah, at some point, you have to acknowledge how terrible she's been to you also. But we don't want to do that. Ashley, it wasn't her call.
And he said he wasn't going to do it. There's no sacred cows. And I took that to mean you too. You know, me too. So what was I going to do? It was me or them. I just think it was sucky for them to literally be on that interview and find out on page 6 that this is what happened. And you didn't have the common courtesy or decency to call them, to send them a floral arrangement, to do anything and be like, I'm sorry, or take him out to dinner and be like, look, this is beyond me. Like, I don't know what to do, y'all. Like, this is what it is. But instead, you'd rather them be blindsided and then have to give some sort of statement, I'm sure, to keep whatever residual money they get from the airings or syndication, if they even have a syndication deal. I'm not sure. But I'm sure that was why he was so political in his response. Even to this day, Mr. J really didn't degrade her. He was just very much like, yeah, I'm not going to say that. And I wonder if it's because he still has a modicum of like love and care for her, or if it's just a matter of, you know what, I made good anyway. Because let's be very clear. Nigel said he done shot Taylor Swift and became her photographer and did all her books and all the stuff. Miss J was living her best life, and damn it, Mr. J was doing his thing. And maybe it's, you know, let's put it behind us. But I think this was, again, I think it just goes into a person's character. If there's no sacred cows and you were scared, why would you not confide that in your friends? Like, y'all, I don't know what to do. I'm in such a situation. Here, look what they showed. Look what they sent me. What are we going to do? What us going to do? Like, that's how I would be with my friends. Like, what do we do? What do we do? What do we talk about? You know, I think there's friendship, and then there's like associates or acquaintances. And I don't think Tyra was anybody's friend, not at least over here. These weren't her
that was why they failed in the first place, because they went into this as friends. There was nothing put in writing, because there was no reason, even when we get to Tyra and what they tried to do with her, the way that you created this show from top to bottom, conceptualized everything, but you could still be written off. You could still be fired. Like, what was the paperwork? Why was there nothing signed? Because you were never just on air talent. Neither one of you. All of you should have had stakes in some type of bank in this company. No, that there should never be a moment for somebody to fire. Like, no, I wouldn't have been that. But this is. Well, go ahead.
And like I was just gonna say, like, you communicate with your friends. Like, you pull their coattail, you drop a hint. If you a friend since you're 17, 18, y'all got code languages, y'all got code words. Like, listen,
she's not a friend. She's never
That's
a
just
friend.
that's what a friend does, in
No,
my
she
opinion.
said these two, they make for good TV. And they're probably gonna be grateful for the opportunity and for for being platformed. Like, yeah, I'm gonna bring them on, and that's just that. This isn't a friend. This is nobody's friend. Even if it wasn't your call, it's the way that you present it and the way that you show up for people that you claim to care about. Girl, she didn't care about these folks. She didn't care. But I know my name would have been on something. After all this time, how many? I've been here since Cycle 1. Doing what? And I don't have enough stakes to say whether or not you can fire me. Girl, now
throw it all away at this point.
at
Damn it.
this point, because I know anyone who was watching the show, Miss J for that vivacious personality, very bold, very outspoken, very expressive, the memes to the gods, child. But there isn't a whole lot being said here. It's very quiet, really reserved. We'll say a little bit or a couple of words, and then we just kind of cut. And I was like, something's going on with Miss J. Then once we get here, it's like, oh no. Oh no. I taught people how to walk and now I can't walk. We find out after, Jay has had a really successful career, once again, teaching the girls how to walk and also being on other inversions of America's Next Top Model. He's the girl to the girls. But then we have a stroke and we can no longer talk or walk and we are hospitalized. And life is changed forever. We have to relearn everything, amidst just trying to survive. To get here and have Miss J in this emotional state. Because we already had our situation with Mr. J. Because they're like, so Tyra, do you want to talk about the situation with Mr. J and what? No, not here. I need to call him. I don't want to talk about that here. I don't want to talk about that here. We get here and something this intense happens. Like this life-threatening. Whatever could have been, happening is water under the bridge at this point. I'm coming to be by your side. I'm coming to check on you and your well-being. Everybody showed up. Everybody came to visit me except Tyra. She sent a text saying that she wanted to, and then they have this montage like, Tyra, she's always just so busy. She probably just too busy to go. Girl, she don't give a damn. She don't care. This was so sad. This was so sad, and I love that at least we still had Nigel and Mr. J there to champion him on and let him know, everything that you've gone through. Look at you, girl. Like you're light years ahead of where you were before, and it's just going to keep increasing. You're going to learn to walk again. But let's just be positive and get this group selfie because we don't see each other enough. But we're all here standing to even be in this dock at this moment. But you could really tell the emotional weight of the stroke and everything that happened, but also the weight of Tyra not acknowledging anything and not showing up for him. This was sorry. She must pay for her crimes. Tyra, really? There's no excuse as to why she couldn't have been here. Ashley?
None whatsoever. I really feel like everything else be damned, right? The show, the money, everything aside, Miss J could have lost their life. Like they couldn't talk, they couldn't walk, couldn't feed themselves, and you couldn't hop your ass on a jet from Australia and come and see about your friend. Like there's nothing in this. Only death could keep me from it. Like I'm gonna come see about you. Like especially I have the means. It's not a matter of her not having access or the means. You just didn't give a damn. The fact that he said that she hasn't even called, and the fact that she texted when they got there to film this documentary. Yeah, she just texted me talking about she want to come see me. No, like what? So you did it just so he could say, yeah, she reached out, but just since you've been here, you don't give a damn about these people. You never did. There's no way. There's no way my friend could do that, survive that, and now be showing up and I haven't made an effort to call, FaceTime, be there, send something, do something. That is vile. That is the worst of the worst of the worst. It wouldn't surprise me anything else that they said that she did. I'd be like, she did it. Because there's no way you treat somebody like that.
Yeah, he did that.
Yeah, you did it. Like there's no way. And Miss J, as much ish as they talked during the season, they were fun and they were fair for the most part. And to see her there so broken, like, like you said, I taught people to walk and now I can't even walk. But they're like, but you will. it was really nice to see that he was flanked by Nigel and Mr. J, and that they're still
Yeah.
a part of each other. Look, your hair done got so long. You look good. You look good,
Mhm.
girl.
Cute.
Like I was like, that was special. But yeah, that's raggedy as hell. That is raggedy as hell. You don't get no pass. She need to repent. She need to go to the altar and lay it down, Tyra, and repent for that. This is awful.
I
This is
just couldn't
awful.
believe. It's just like, I'll get to that. And we know how quickly stuff happens. There comes a moment where you can't get to that and people are gone. And then you have to sit and you want to reminisce about how you should have been there. If you're not here now, I never meant anything. Like, so stop pretending that I did. I don't want to talk about that. We don't have to talk about. I'm gonna call. I'm gonna go see him. We don't have to talk about that. Then what are we gonna talk about is Tyra.
Oh,
Those are
you
the
ain't
main
called him in 100
ones
years. Be
who want
serious.
to cry down at the it stunts and shows down at the funeral. Girl, get out of my
Jump in the
face.
casket.
Jump in the casket. Take me with him, Lord. Type energy. Tragic. But I'm glad to see Miss J up and running and being okay. But after all is said and done, and once we're, down to the cycles, and we're about, 24 cycles in, and we're gimmicked out, child, those shots that they were showing, that's probably by the time that I left of what they were doing. I was like, Tyra, what the hell are you doing? Tyra was literally doing the most, really grasping at straws from a show that's beginning to kind of fall by the wayside as far as viewership. It was cute a little bit, but you can tell when a show is a shell of its former self and the audience is starting to lean. But gimmicks aside, by the time we get to cycle 24 and then some, maybe we need to shift a little bit more. Do we need Tyra? She can really go. This always gets me as far as like ownership. And I know things exchange hands because then they said, well, the person who was over the network, they moved and then we had this new person and they wanted to do all these things different. And I didn't have control or, we're signing things away. But I think at some point, no matter how much money was on the line for something that you created, well, I'm going to sign it over and take this money. What does it all mean if you can just be discarded for something that was your baby? Good or bad, as toxic as the show was, this is your show. These are your thoughts on paper, actualized for years, profited, your girls, and then they throw you away real quick, all about Rita Ora. I say, first of all, what if y'all thought y'all was going with Rita
I
Ora?
don't know where they thought it was going.
What were you doing with that? What was going on there? But yeah, we replaced Tyra, let her go. And then you caught on the show, and all of a sudden you looking at Law Roach, Rita Ora, and some knockoff. The show is a shell of its former self, and then we just kind of cancel it all together. But I mean, I think it's befitting. I don't know. I don't know why and how we always get here, especially as Black creatives, and you don't own anything. Like, how can they do this? Now you stepping down and you wanting to, take a break because I've been revealing a photo for umpteen years. Baby's tired. I'm gonna hand the torch over. But you being fired is something totally different. Like, how you get fired on your day off? Why are we getting fired from our own show? Ashley.
Girl, because it was time to reap what you sow. I don't know, for having all of this, alleged business acumen, a talk show, all those other things that ran. I would have thought that it had her daddy's blood on it, like have his name on it, like like you'd have done that paperwork down at the courthouse and got everything copyrighted, and I think everything was for sale, and I think she knew it when she sold it, which is why she knew she had limited power, especially when ratings started to decline and to do all of those things. Rita was a choice, though. I'm like, why wouldn't we just enlist somebody else? Damn it! Because I mean, you had Project Runway by the time this is out, and I actually stopped watching this and started watching Project Runway. There's somebody over there you could have scouted and brought over there. Especially now with you trying to run a different one. But yeah, I don't give a damn. I had stopped watching this well before then. I know she was off the rails. I think they started having men on the show. Like it was a whole different show by the time,
I remember that. It was US versus England and the man. I remember that man in that fake beard. that lace front beard they put on that man's face, which was wild. But here we are, and it's the end of an era and no more. And then you have Tyra get her ass back on screen and say, or was it? Is it the end? Or is it? Because we're coming back with cycle 25. Say, Tyra, please. Tyra is sitting up here on her little soapbox, like, all those things that I did in the past, they can be rewritten here. Tune in next week for Cycle 25, where it won't even resemble anything that you ever saw in those 24 cycles in those problematic years of America's Next Top Model. I'm going to do it again and I'm going to do it right. You watching, right? With who? Tyra, please. I don't even understand why there will be a need for just a cycle. And they even talk about it in the way that the ladies were saying how there isn't any exposure or access at the time to really revel in the opportunity that the reality TV could have gave in the way that it is now. Baby, everybody on Instagram is a model, Tyra.
Mhm.
every it's an IG model. Every the way that someone is discovered is via Insta something. Oh, I saw
Yeah.
you and you're being platformed. There's exposure in a way that there never was to half-ass. At this point, you really don't even need an agency. Somebody could just find you. Why do we need a show? Who is going to want to go through the trenches with you to get access to something that maybe that they can access easier on their own? Like, baby, I can take a picture on my iPhone. Like, I don't know. How do you feel about this? Will you or anybody in the chat be watching?
So here's what's going to happen. Inevitably, people love a train wreck. People love a spectacle. The first couple of episodes of this are going to skyrocket. It's going to look crazy. People are going to be over there. They're going to be giving commentary. It's going to be more people on TikTok and Instagram, YouTube talking about the episodes of these shows, and then it'll drastically fall off. This does not have longevity. This is not an official reboot that's going to last at all. It's a different world out here, and I think she's just so out of damn touch. This was not the soft launch baby that you thought it was going to be. You came across crazy and terrible. People are just going to watch to see it crash and burn. I give it maybe 2 or 3 episodes. They'll run the whole cycle, I'm sure, but they'll either review bomb it over there, or like I said, I think the first couple of episodes will definitely get all the ratings because people are going to want to see. But I don't think there'll be any longevity in this at all. What you
I
think?
just don't. I mean, we gonna watch it now. That's different. We didn't say that. Us as consumers and reviewers, we're going to watch it, but I just don't know. How are you? Because is this just the modeling is just a toxic industry overall. People are going to be watching and dissecting everything with a fine-tooth comb. Oh, see, they're going to be doing that to make sure that the PC culture is in line, and then they're going to be checking for crazy quirks with Tyra. See, oh, she's all like, she's just, I don't see it having the same lasting power or something as those other cycles. Like, this is just a different time. I'll watch it just to see, but what are you gonna do? Like, what are you gonna do that hasn't been done already? Like, you milked it for all that it was worth. And then what I really hate is just as successful, and I'm pivoting, I pivot, is Tyra has just been on a trajectory of, I'm just trying different things to see what works. And since nothing has worked as well as this, or it's been as profitable, now we're gonna go back to it. Tyra's been hosting TV shows, the hot ice cream, the business ventures, the makeup, and nothing's sticking. I don't think that at the time of this she thought that this would be the end all to be all as far as her most successful venture. Like, if I did it once, I could do it again. No, this was just that. And now it's like I can capitalize again and get back what I had. I don't know. I don't know. I wonder what network it's going to be on.
Vic
Is it
said
Netflix?
Vic said Netflix, because why would they promote it on Netflix if they weren't going to air it on Netflix?
Are they going to drop it all at once? Like, girl, okay. Yeah, we'll see. But before we get out of here, the documentary is on the way. I'm hoping everybody who wasn't here, all the voices that weren't heard over here, they're over there in that documentary. Because these are the people I want to see amongst them. That's all I can fit in this little box. I want to hear from these people. I want to see. I want to see Naima. Yeah, I want to see these people. I want to see the girls. Now, I could understand some of the ones like in Eva,
Jade.
who's girl. Yeah, I want to see Jade. Crazy. I want to see Lisa. I want to see
Oh.
the crazies.
Yeah.
I want to see the unfiltered people and something that's not curated and executively produced by Tyra, where they're just going and running amok. That's what I want to see. Yeah. But Ashley, will you be watching the E documentary when it
Well,
drops?
and we'll be back. You see how they showed up tonight? We'll be back to talk about another documentary. And E's gonna be the real deal Holyfield, I'm sure. So yeah.
Yeah, you know, E ain't never played about a documentary. I want to see Takara Jones. I want to see the girls, okay? But y'all, that was Reality Check Inside America's Next Top Model.
Yeah.
Hopefully you had a good time and all checks were checked because we covered everything. I made sure we did.
And
Ashley, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
don't forget, you guys, later this week, we will be talking Love Story, American Love Story on FX, Ryan Murphy's new property. We will also be talking episode 4 of Cross. Tyra is hosting members only Blockbuster movie night this Saturday. So we'll be in the house. Please make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. Hype us up, hit the like button, comment, do all the things. Show some love if you had a good time tonight. And let us know who you want to see in the E documentary. Let us know.
Child Joshua said, shake your body, move my body. And Tyra thought she was jujuing on that beat. Say, Tyra, if you don't sit down forcing these later to star in your raggedy ass video. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time with more content. Y'all have a good night.
I wanna be on top. I wanna be on top.
You got it that deep for me. Real love is deep for me. I'ma make you go weak for me. Make you wait a whole week for me. I see you watching, feeding. I know you want it, scheming. I know you need it, trouble. Know you want it on you. And I know you need love. I need some too. Do you want this? Like it wants you. Know that booty gon' do what it wants to. Can't hit it one time, hook it up. I know you see this red on me. Now come and get